Sup guys, it's Alex here, and welcome to the post-draft NCAA Bracketology. This one's going to be for like the 2020 NCAA tournament and stuff like that. This video probably won't even crack 1,000 views or something like that. But I know most of you guys are subscribing to me for college basketball content. It's been a while since I posted a college basketball video, but never fear, it is time for another Bracketology update. This one is as of June 27th, and right now I'm uploading it on the 3rd. I've been super busy with work and stuff like that. I thought I'd go ahead and get the video out before the July 4th holiday weekend for you guys. And yeah, like, a lot of these teams I'm not going to know a whole lot about. Like, I know some general players, I know past performances and stuff like that, but a lot of these teams have new players, a lot of new transfers, freshmen, just new teams in general. As you can see, there's been a ton of movement since his last Bracketology came out, I think back right after the season ended. But yeah, I'll go ahead and go a little bit region by region right here. Up here in the Midwest regional, in Indianapolis, Michigan State's going to be the 1 seed with Cassius Winston. I think they'll probably be the tournament or the championship favorites and stuff like that. Auburn's down to a 5, Virginia's down to a 4, Final Four matchup from last season, which I think Auburn deserved to win that game, but that's just kind of my thoughts right there. Virginia down to a 4 seed after winning the national championship, but that is understandable. I actually think that's a bit high for Virginia because they lost almost all of their main contributors, DeAndre Hunter, Todd Jerome, Kyle Guy. And the main guy that's back is Diakite, and I mean, he even wasn't really that important to the team. Like, he's going to be become probably the guy for them this season, but we'll see how he does in that row right there. Texas Tech up there. All 4 Final Four teams, I didn't even realize this until I started making the video. All 4 Final Four teams are in that region right there. Michigan State, Texas Tech, Auburn, and Virginia, so that's a pretty crazy thing right there. Joe Lunardi's having some fun with his Bracketology. Down here in the West Regional, we got Kansas as the 1 seed. They're moving up after having a pretty successful offseason. I think one of their top players is returning. I want to say it's like D'Souza or something like that. I'm not 100% sure. Don't quote me on that. Then we have Louisville in there as the 2 seed. They're looking like a top 10 team. They had a great recruiting season. Jordan Nwora came back as well, so they're going to be looking pretty good. Marquette's a 7. Florida is up to a 3. They made the tournament as I want to say it was either they played the 7 and 10 game. I just don't remember which seed they were in the last tournament. But then they got Kerry Blackshear from Virginia, the transfer, and I think that's going to change them. I think they'll be a top contender in the SEC along with Kentucky. Then over here in the East Regional, we got North Carolina being the number 1 seed over there. Memphis as a 4 after missing the tournament. Penny Hardaway has been turning around that program. They're going to be looking pretty good. Maryland is up there as a 3 seed, so it'll be interesting to see how they perform there. Villanova is a 2 after not really doing so hot this past season. And down here in the South Regional in Houston, we have Duke as the 1 seed. Then we have Kentucky as the 2 seed. I think those two are going to be matching up in the Elite 8 without a doubt right there. Purdue as a 4. They did really good in the tournament this past season, but they're losing their main player in Carson Edwards, which he went to my Celtics, so I was pretty happy about that. It'll be interesting to see how he fits there. But Baylor right there is up to a 3, as you can see right there. They are turning that program around. They looked really good near the end of the season last season, and hopefully they can continue that hot streak into this season. And then I'll go and show you guys the bubble right here. Last 4 buys. Texas, Dayton, which was kind of a surprise. I was interested to see that Joe Lunardi put 2 A10 teams in there with VCU and Dayton. There might be another one that just kind of slipped past me. Kansas State and Arizona State. Last 4 in are Minnesota, Georgetown, Providence, and Penn State. Penn State, I think, has potential to do really good this season or be like a 6 or 7 seed. We'll see how it turns out though. First 4 out are Davidson, Xavier, Colorado, and Alabama. Then the next 4 out are Indiana, TCU, USC, and Syracuse. So without any further ado, as you guys know, I go on Brackify.com. If you're new to the channel, you'll be seeing this in almost all my college basketball videos that I do. And if you've been following along, you know I'll put the link for this in the description for you guys to go ahead and vote. What I do is I create an interactive bracket on Brackify.com for you guys to go ahead and vote. The link for this will be in the description just to get the community's kind of feel for the Bracketology, see what they're thinking. Usually it's like the number 1 overall seed ends up winning, but you never know. Sometimes there's some surprises. But without any further ado, let's go and get into the first matchup. For a lot of these, I might not know, as I said earlier, I might not know the teams and stuff like that, or the players that are going to be on the teams. So I'll be making my best educated guess, and in some other cases, I'll know the players and stuff like that. At first, Michigan State versus the winner of Grambling and Lamar. That one's pretty obvious. We got Michigan State moving on there. Houston and Oklahoma. Not really sure how this one's going to turn out. Houston was a 3 seed this past season, and I think that they'll be able to pull off a victory here. Falling to the 8 seed is kind of a surprise, but they did. I think they had a first-round pick, which kind of lowers the talent level of this year's team, but we'll see what happens there. Houston will win that. Then I think that Auburn will beat Harvard. Virginia, I think, will beat Liberty in that situation right there. Then Oregon will beat the winner of Minnesota and Providence, which I think would probably be Minnesota. And we got Texas Tech beating UC Irvine. NC State, I think, will lose to LSU. I guess LSU is going to be fine after what their kind of scandal near the end of the season. Haven't really heard any new news coming out of the offseason, but I think LSU will make will win a game here as the 10 seed. Then Gonzaga will beat North Dakota State. Kansas will beat Northern Colorado. Utah State, who was a great surprise last season, I think that they'll continue their kind of not really hot run, but surprise run. I think that they'll get the victory here against Florida State. Arizona, I think, will beat New Mexico State after missing the tournament for a year. Seton Hall, with I think his name is Miles Powell, something like that. He really impressed me near the end of the last season, and I really like him as a player. I think that they beat East Tennessee State right there. Then I'm going to go with an upset here. I'm going to go with Kansas State upsetting Iowa as the 11 seed. And I think that Florida will beat Charleston. Then we got Texas beating Marquette with Marcus Howard. As much as I wanted to pick Marquette with Marcus Howard, with the Hauser twins leaving, I think that's just going to be a one-man team there. We'll see how it kind of goes. Then Louisville, I think, will beat UT Arlington. North Carolina will beat the winner of Morgan State and LIU Brooklyn. Ole Miss will beat Washington. Then I'm going to go with a slight upset pick right here. I'm going to go with Vermont beating Caleb Wasson and Ohio State. We got to have some upsets in here. I mean, I don't even have a reason not to pick any upsets. Why not go with one right there? And I think that Penny Hardaway and Memphis will get the victory here over Belmont. I might have picked Belmont there to upset, but they did lose Dylan Windler, who's looking pretty good in the Summer League. I do have to admit that. And then I think that Arizona State will pull off the upset here against Iowa State. Iowa State lost two of their biggest guys, not biggest guys, but most important guys in Shayok, and then Horton Tucker, that's his name. I couldn't think of a second name. Now they lost two guys right there. I think Arizona State gets the victory there. Then Maryland will beat Colgate. Mississippi State, I think, will beat Dayton, and then Villanova will beat Radford. Then we have Duke beating Rider. Cincinnati, I think, with Jaron Cumberland, will beat Tennessee. Tennessee lost their three most important players in Schofield, Grant Williams, and Jordan Bone. And I think that WKU, Western Kentucky, will pull off the victory here against 5C Creighton, which I think is awfully high for Creighton. We'll have to see. I'll have to look into why they're so high. Kind of surprised by that, but I'm going to go with Western Kentucky. I think Charles Bassey decided to return. I'm not 100% positive on that. Don't quote me on it. But then Purdue, I think, will beat Northern Iowa. St. Mary's, I think, will beat the winner of Penn State and Georgetown, which I'd love to see Georgetown win that matchup with Mac McClung. And we got Baylor beating Ball State. VCU, I think, will beat Michigan. Michigan, honestly, don't really know what to expect out of them since this is going to be Juwan Howard's first year. So I'm going to go with VCU getting the victory there, and then Kentucky will beat Wright State. Then for a spot in the Sweet 16, we got Michigan State beating Houston. Rematch of the Final Four, as I mentioned earlier right here. I'm going to go with the other side this time. I think Auburn gets the victory there over Virginia. Then we got Oregon and Texas Tech. Oregon is a program that's on the rise, and I think that they pull off the victory here against Chris Beard, the National Coach of the Year, and Texas Tech. They get the upset there with Peyton Pritchard. And we got Gonzaga beating the 10-seed LSU Tigers. Kansas, I think, will beat Utah State. I'm going to have Miles Powell and Seton Hall advance past Arizona. They're in that crazy game against Wofford in the tournament. That was one of my favorite games up until Wofford went on an 18-0 run to end the game. I'm going to go with Seton Hall beating Arizona right there. Florida, I think, will beat Kansas State, and then Louisville will beat Texas. And we got North Carolina beating Ole Miss, Memphis beating Vermont. And then I'm going to go with Arizona State pulling off the upset here against Maryland. Arizona State's one of those teams that can beat anybody but also lose to anybody. I'm going to have them going hot here at the end. Then we have Villanova beating Mississippi State, Duke beating Jaron Cumberland in Cincinnati, Purdue beating Western Kentucky, battle of the football since Purdue was able to get Jeff Brom away from Western Kentucky, the coach battle right there. It's more of a regional thing. And then Baylor, I think, will beat St. Mary's, and then Kentucky will beat VCU. Then first spot in the Elite Eight, Michigan State, I think, will beat Auburn, and then Gonzaga will beat Oregon. Kansas will end the run of Miles Powell and Seton Hall. Then I think that Louisville will get the victory there over Florida. And then I'm going to go with Cole Anthony and North Carolina beating Memphis. Then I'm going to go with Arizona State moving on as a double-digit seed. I think most of these most of the recent tournaments have had at least one double-digit seed move on to the Elite Eight. I'm going to have Arizona State be that team and beat Villanova. And we got Duke beating Purdue, Kentucky beating Baylor. Then first spot in the Final Four, I think Michigan State and Cassius Winston are going to blow past Gonzaga here. Then we have Louisville, I think, will actually beat Kansas here to move on to the Final Four as well. As you can tell, I'm probably losing my voice a little bit. Then we got North Carolina beating Arizona State. Then Duke and Kentucky right here. This will be another powerhouse game. I think Kentucky gets a victory there. They have a lot of good talent, which, I mean, Duke does too with Trey Jones returning, but I think Kentucky's just going to be too stacked for them. They have a lot more experience returning. And Michigan State and Louisville, these two teams always find a way to play each other during the regular season or tournament. And I think Michigan State gets a victory there. And then I think that Kentucky pulls off the victory there against Cole Anthony and North Carolina, which sets up a national championship game between Kentucky and Michigan State. And as much as I want to pick my Kentucky Wildcats to win Big Blue Nation, I think the number 1 overall seed wins this. I think Michigan State with Cassius Winston is going to be the best team in the nation this season. But this is this is June. Who knows what's going to happen once the season starts up in November and stuff like that. But anyway, thank you guys for watching. Hope you enjoyed it. If you did enjoy it, be sure to like and subscribe. Let me know in the comments what you guys think. I can't wait 5 more months, however long it's going to be until the season starts. Really excited for college basketball. Really excited for the NFL season too, stuff like that. NBA offseason was crazy. Thank you guys for watching. Hope you enjoy it, and I will see you all later.